This is going to be more of a I'm going to talk and you're just going to listen type of video. There's not really anything to watch. But I thought I would come on and tell you, or kind of a quick explanation of what's going on in the world right now. I know a lot of people think that they're in tune and they believe that they are or not or whatnot, have you. As chances are they don't. People are not very smart these days, and it's not their fault. However, I will explain that right now, America is the last stand. That this election that we're going through, and that we did go through back in 2015, is gonna. It's the decision maker, for lack of better terms. This is do or die. This is the last stand. America is the last stand. We're the only ones still yet with most of our freedoms, or a majority of our freedoms. Basically, for short words made simple, we have been held back in society as a world. This is not an America-only type situation. This is a worldwide effort. They've made an effort to silence us. They've made an effort and have been successful at this part. As far as even silencing, they've been successful at that as well. The deep state is not really a joke. However, they are. They're extremely stupid, if you ask me, especially once you catch on to what they're doing. The Illuminati is the same shit. These creatures, they worship Satan. They're pieces of shit, for lack of better terms. So they actually have been striving and striving and striving, and they're nearly there if you think about it. Look at all the fucking chaos going on right now. But you know the old saying, misery loves company. Misery does love company, and if you think, look at all the shit that they're doing to turn us into exactly what they are too. Most of these Satanists are pedophiles, okay, and there's a shit ton of people in this club. You know, just kind of like George Carlin says, that there's a massive, massive, massive fucking club, and you're not in it. We're not in it. You and I, neither one of us are in it. Technology. Our technological advancements are not what they should be, in my opinion. I would say we're at least 150 years behind of what we should be and what we could be. At this point, there are aliens out there, okay? And I'm not like a big theorist on this. I don't really know, but I have seen some shit in the sky that is not a fucking airplane, okay? I've seen it when I was younger. I've seen it recently. I've seen it within the last year or so. I don't know how to fucking explain this shit, really. The sad part is I actually have to dumb myself down with the people that I work with, because they completely are immune to any knowledge of this. They want to argue back and forth or bitch and complain about presidential elections and this guy's doing this and this guy's... All that shit's been dealt with. You just gotta know. I mean, you're fucking retarded. So right now, we're pushing for our alliance, okay? And if it's very imminent that Donald Trump gets reelected. It is very, very, very important that we vote. You get your brother, your brother's cousin, your mom, your uncle, whoever, and you get them. I don't give a shit if you like them fucking people or not. You need to get them out there and vote for Trump. However, if that's not what they choose, then you can't force somebody to do something that they do not. Well, actually, yes, you can, but no, you can't. So right now, you need to look at things like Pizzagate. If you don't know what's going on, you need to look at things like Pizzagate, Wayfairgate, and how that was trafficking children. Pizzagate. Why are they so crazy about calling little girls or girls pizza or cheese pizza, little boys hot dogs? Why was it there was a past president that spent $65,000 on fucking hot dogs to be flown in from Chicago? That's a lot of money just for some hot dogs. MK Ultra and all that shit, you need to look at the national symbolism of the FBI's known pedophile symbolism. There's a lot of shit you should be looking into if you don't know what's going on. And it's no longer a joke. It's right here in front of our face. Satanism is real. Evil is the real fucking deal. But good always wins. They explain everything that they do in every fucking movie they make. They're striving to make us just as negative as they are. You know, when somebody's like, nah, dude, you don't want to do that. You know, like, it just, they want us to be just as negative as they are. So they've altered our music. They've altered our movies. You know, you ever been watching a movie and it fucking pulls you in so close and you just get mad at this guy, you know, and it's just so much anger you have built up for this character in a movie from which you really shouldn't give two shits about, right? They can manipulate you with music, and it's in every bit of music that's out there. From screamo shit to country, from jazz to classical, from hip-hop to opera. Everything has been, basically everything we know has been infiltrated with negative energies or negative thoughts or negative tones. There is a frequency out there that you can listen to. It's basically just music, or maybe nature sounds in the background, but it has a frequency of hertz that can alter your mind and help open up your third eye. If you don't know what your third eye is, you need to look at that too. Your pineal gland is a gateway to many, 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 many fucking things. So right now, you need to understand that the deep state's being handled right now. One of the second attempts ever in history that I know of, and possibly even more, but there's an effort going on to rid ourselves of the deep state. Only the deep state goes deep underground too. 500 miles deep by way of understanding. I don't think that that's possible, but if you sincerely think about it, they've had a lot of time to do this, so yeah, it could very well be possible. They also have ways to travel from California to New York in like a few hours, a handful of hours. That's pretty fucking fast, and that's moving at a high rate of speed. Okay, you think that's not possible, but then you think that there's actually I know in Vegas there's like a roller coaster, a simulated ride you can get from like a dragster that's run by magnets and motors, and it's all controlled by magnets. And they say that thing gets you up to speed. It hits you 300 miles an hour in an eighth mile, and that's that, or a quarter mile, I think it is. Either way, it's kind of like a roller coaster ride. You have to pay a fee and you take this ride. But that thing, I mean, if you can move a simulated dragster that fast, then yeah, I could believe you could move a group of people from LA to New York in a matter of hours. Yeah. Think of off-planet type situations. Have you ever thought to yourself, looked up at the sky when you're looking at the harvest moon and realized that's the only side of the moon you've ever seen? What's on the other fucking side? You know, pictures of NASA landing on the moon, you know, Neil Armstrong. Well, this Neil A character, first of all, if you take Neil A and flip that around, what does that spell? They're very simple science here, very simple knowledge. And once you start seeing the clues and shit, it's in every single thing. Just when you think two companies are competing against each other, they're actually owned by the same people or the same group. Just when you think bottled water should cost a lot of money from Pepsi and it's not that much from Coca-Cola, it's the same shit. It's all owned by the same people. Just when you think they're competing, they're not. They're owned by the same guy, so he could really give a shit less. And it is. It's in our sports drinks. It's in Gatorades, waters, alkaline. They do everything they can to calcify our pineal gland, because once your pineal gland has been cracked open from the shit that's been collected around it, your third eye is going to open, and that opens a whole new fucking world. So you got to take into consideration what's going on. This presidential election, there is a lot of pedophiles out there. There's a lot of them that are actors, a lot of them that are actresses, a lot of them that have been trafficking children and humans or adults, however you want to say it, human trafficking. So just when you thought Mary Kay was owned by Mary Kay, it's not. It's under her name. It's in her name. People think that that's her because they favor her, so they're going to buy her product. When in all reality, all that money goes back into the Illuminati, and she gets maybe a small portion, if that. And at that rate, it's a very, very small fucking portion. So it's kind of like boss man owning the company and only paying you $5 an hour to do this massive amount of fucking work. Who would have thought, you know? But that's the way they roll. Been trying for months now to make this video, and it gets interrupted or cut off every single fucking time. So this time, I'm putting this video up regardless. But it's imperative that if you have hate in your heart, if you have fucked up, if you have thought you walked with the devil, then you need to go find God. You need to go pray to whichever God you think is going to be best for you, or whichever you prefer to believe in. It's all your choice. And pray for the better to be on the outcome. If you've got people that you need to apologize to, now's the time to do it. What we're fixing to go through, and I might be wrong, I hope I'm wrong, because I really would rather not go through this, but I've been preparing for this my entire life. Don't ask me how I know, because I've never actually known. I just always had that deep feeling in my gut that I need to prepare for the worst outcome. So I have. And in order to do that, you actually have to think negatively. And I never knew that that's what I was doing until it became very apparent to me. This is what I'm doing. I'm thinking negatively, but then on the outcome, it's going to end up positively. So technically, yeah, I would say I've known about this for a long fucking time. We're fixing to go through a situation where, in my opinion, I think this election is going to get very fucking dangerous. And I hope it doesn't. I hope it turns out for the good. I hope people wake up and they have a lot of forgiveness in their heart for the hatred that they've had. Although I believe it's still very possible that most of these people are still going to have a lot of hatred. I believe that once all this is going to begin to be revealed to the public, openly to the public, on news channels and such, that there's going to be a lot of people that commit suicide. I hope there's not. I don't believe that those people need to do that to themselves, but there's going to be some people that cannot handle this kind of truth. They can't. It's going to hurt too much for them. They are going to, I think that there's going to be a lot, and I mean a lot, of people that are going to plummet mentally. A lot of people are going to need help, and there's a lot more people out there that have been trafficked and raped, used, and abused. So just when you thought you had it worse, or you thought your family was fucked up, guess what? This kid's family sold them for a mere couple $100, or maybe a couple $1,000. There's no telling. People are fucking greedy, and when they're in a position of desperation like that, there's no telling what they'll sell a body for. And by way of understanding that the shit that they do to these people is unimaginable. It's unspeakable. I've got a pretty rugged heart. I've seen some rough shit, and I'm pretty sure I'd be able to handle some of the most horrific shit in the world, but I think when it comes to shit like that, I think that's where I'm kind of like, no, I don't know. But a part of me says that I need to know so that I can also help prevent any of this from ever happening in the future. I alone can't do that for sure, but to be able to see signs if somebody's ever trying this again, it's kind of like, hey, you can look over yonder or look over here. You know, that really seems fucking odd. And it's going to be a group effort. We're all going to have to work together to prevent this from ever happening again. It's going to take a world of people working together to come out of this. When I say a world of people working together, it's a world of fucking people working together. Now, my understanding, there's going to be a time of darkness. So they're going to delete the internet, or they're going to shut the internet down. So your Twitter, your Instagram, or your Bookface, your Chapsnats, all that fun stuff is no longer going to be working. Okay, and in order to do this, because that's what needs to be done, they're going to delete the deep dark web and erase completely its fucking contents, which needs to be done because there's a lot of kids that find themselves on that site or whatever, and they see some of the shit that's going on. I mean, if they do, they're more prone to want to imitate that maybe, or even try it. And I think that there's a lot of shit on there that doesn't need to be fucking tried. So we're going to go through a period of darkness. You're only going to be able to dial 911. There's no telling how long. If they get to a point where they feel this needs to be done, I don't know if this is what's going to happen or not. This is what I'm reading and understanding that we need to prepare for. So you're going to need everything you need everything you have to be able to sustain yourself in your home. I also advise you get a gun. Once again, if you don't know somebody that's got a gun that you can borrow, I would highly advise you bunk up with somebody that's got a gun. Move in with them, get really good friends with them, get really fucking close to them, or whatever you got to do. I hope it doesn't come to this situation, but it's always better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. Rednecks, we're always fucking smart in that. So once again, you're only going to be able to dial 911. Other than that, your phone will be practically useless. I'm sure we're still going to have things like our music and photos and things like that we can look back on, but your Wi-Fi, all that stuff, it doesn't matter how connected to the internet you are, you're not going to have it. Or it's going to be like at a very, very, very extreme crawl. So it'll take 30 minutes to pull up a fucking web page. You know, you're trying to look for fucking bee sting recommendations on fucking how to fix that when you just, you know, old school style, just take a little tobacco, slap that fucker on there, hold it for about 10 minutes, that sting, you'll forget all about it. Might have a little bit of a nicotine rush, or at least I did. So anyway, we're going to go through a point. It's very possible that we're going to go through a point where we have zero communications. All communications will be dead, flatlined. And there's no telling, this may or may not go anywhere from 3 days to fucking 10 days. And it may last for a month. Who knows? Right now, we haven't really been briefed, so there's not really a way of knowing. I would account for anything. I would be prepared for anything. Right now, I am not, just as much as the next guy, but I think I'd be able to hold off for a little while before I actually happen to take myself out of my home and go to the store. Shit, if you don't have communications, what kind of fucking job can you do? You know, I don't know. I mean, the world would actually shut down. I think there'd be a lot of things that would need to shut down. And once again, I hope we don't go into that situation, but I believe that I believe it kind of needs to happen to handle some of the things that need to be handled, to handle them very quick, very discreet. Once again, there's already a lot of things that have happened behind the scenes. So just kind of like if I was making balloon animals with this hand, but I'm showing you my fingernails on this hand, guess which one your attention's on? This one. But this one's doing the real fucking magic over here. It's a tactic that's been used for years. Always has been. So anyway, I'm going to try to get off of here. I've got another rig truck to try to build, and I tried building the last rig truck. I fucked up and I did not check to see that I have all the parts, which sucks, but I'm at my own fault. And I was really wanting to hold off on building this because I really wanted my workbench to be able to build this on. However, there's some other situations that come up, and it puts me to a point where I'm going to be traveling quite a bit, or at least for a month or so, and I am not going to have the fucking time. So with that, I'm basically going to be out of pocket for the home, and I will not be around. So once again, if you've got somebody you need to apologize to, if you got family members you need to fucking hug, if you got a grandfather, grandparent, grandmother that you haven't talked to in a while, you might just give them a call. Now is the point. And just let them know that if something like this does happen, not to freak out. However, if that does happen, that would be the one time you're going to need to raise your fucking alerts, your self-alerts, your self-awareness. You're going to need to be on standby. Right now, for the past couple months, I've got every single gun in my house fucking loaded and ready to go. There's literally one behind every fucking door. Every single one of them's loaded, and there's a minimum of 7 rounds in each. Some of them hold up to 17, some of them only hold 5 or 6, maybe even 7, and then 1 in the chamber. I can hold off for a little while, but there's only so much that my pockets can buy, and there's only so many hours in the day that I can work. So once again, if you've got fences that need mending, once we get through all this, this is going to be what I believe is going to be the golden age. This is the age of peace and prosperity for all. So you won't have to think of no longer having to pay taxes. You know, I'm paying nearly $300 a check now in taxes. Hell, if I had a kid on that, I wouldn't be able to afford a fucking dumpster to live in. And that's fucking pathetic. Look how far they've driven us into depression. Both, think of every war since Napoleon has been funded by one man or one family. How in the fuck is that possible? Both sides of each war have been funded by the same family. Think about it. That's very possible. If you got this side and this side, you put them to fight each other, you're funding both sides. You can slow this side down or get them in a position where they're not going to fucking win and make sure that this side wins so that you can achieve an agenda behind it. It's very fucking simple, and if you don't know, you really need to fucking do your research. And if you don't know, and if you can't find anything on your research, then you might be a little slow, and I'm sorry, but you need to find somebody that does know. You can't talk about this with everybody, because most of these people are going to call you a fucking nut. Or at least people do with me, but people were doing that with me long before any of this shit, so I just blow it off. It's whatever. Yes, I'm fucking crazy. I mean, have you ever seen me drive? This is not a joke. I fucking drive like I stole this shit. But look at my driving record. It speaks for itself. People move out of my way, not the other way around. Anyway, I'm gonna get off here. I'm gonna build this fucking truck. I'm gonna put this thing together, and it probably is going to take a little while because I've never built one like this before, and I'm kind of curious to see how it's gonna turn out. And I might take a second and kind of do a video here and there throughout the build process, but I'm very anxious to see the outcome. Once again, I was saving this for a while because I felt this was going to be a really special build, and I'm actually pretty sure I fucked up and ordered the short frame rails instead of the longer ones like I really wanted. But anyway, stay safe. Go fucking apologize or whatever it is you need to do. Give forgiveness where you need to forgive. And if you're drinking still, if you're still on drugs, dope, or anything like that, if you're still drinking, I'm guilty of it myself. You know, you really need to find a way to lay that shit aside and look towards a brighter future without any crutches in there. They have driven us to be like that. They've driven us to be alcoholics. They've driven us to be drug addicts. Especially if they own both markets. You know, it's very easy to fucking see this shit. It's very easy. When you think child trafficking is not real, look at fucking Hocus Pocus. I mean, Jesus. I do a little song and all these fucking children are mesmerized and fucking walking towards this house so that they can sell their soul or give their bodies over. And that's what they're really fucking doing. It's so easy to see once you start paying attention, once you see the signs. It's so easy to fucking see. Anyway, I've got to get off here. I gotta build this shit. We'll see y'all next time. Thanks for watching.